Hi, beautiful ladies. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Alana Palm, Christian trauma release and mind renewal specialist, and I help Christian women overcome overwhelm, fear, frustration, and trauma from a Christ-centered perspective. If this interests you, please continue watching. Hello, hello. I hope you are ready for an amazing opportunity to learn more about why we give our power away, why you give your power away, and what to do about it. I have a few questions actually to start off with, and I put these in the description because I wanted to know, do you feel like other people's opinions affect you deeply? Are you affected by what other people think of you? Are you ever afraid to be the authentic you because people might not like you? Are you afraid that people might walk away if they really know you, like deep down know who you really are, that they might not stay? They might not want to be in relationship with you? Do you ever get caught up in other people's needs? And not just once in a while, but often, where it's like, oh, they need this, so I'm going to do this for them. And then you feel good because you've served them, but at the same time, you're not taking care of your own needs. Is that you? Do you do that? Because if you answered yes to any of these questions, this live is going to be amazing for you. I believe it's going to be really powerful. So I want you to know I'm going to give you everything I can today. I know we only have a limited amount of time. So in the time we have, I want to share everything I can with you to help you to have some practical things that you can implement right away to help you to understand when you're giving your power away and then also how to stop doing that. And at the end, I'm going to share with you, if you're interested in taking some next steps and if you resonate with this teaching and you want to take it to the next level, I'll be talking to you a bit about that. So who is ready to learn more about how you give your power away and actually take action to change it and move forward in your life? If that's you, if you're ready for that, just put yes in the comments because I would love to hear that you want to make some change. As I said, our topic today is how to stop giving your power away to other people. And I know that some of you listening, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, some of you have tried for years or maybe even decades to stop giving your power away to other people and finally be true to who you are. But one of the problems that I've noticed is that a lot of people don't actually know who they are. So it's easy to give your power away to other people when you don't know who you are, when you're not rooted and grounded in you, in your identity. Maybe you've struggled with negative thinking about yourself, or you've carried some shame from the past and you've tried to fill that God-shaped hole inside you with countless things, just like I have. I filled that God-shaped hole with just about everything you can imagine. People, relationships, friendships, drugs, alcohol, sex, shopping, everything. I put everything in that God-shaped hole for years until I met God. And even then I kept putting things in the God-shaped hole that were not God. So are you feeling me? Do you ever do these things? Is it just me? And maybe you've tried like I did, in a lot of ways I did unhealthy things to fill the hole, but then I also wanted to heal. So I tried therapy for decades, church, and self-help books and all the things to heal from the past, and I still felt stuck. So is that you? Do you know that you've tried a lot of things to fix this, but you still feel kind of stuck? And deep down that there must be an answer, right? Because we hear about God wanting us to have this abundant life of joy and peace and freedom, and the enemy keeps us down, right? Like we hear about this in John 10:10, where it says the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, but God came, or Jesus came, that we may have life and have it abundantly. Right? So what does that mean, right? We want to have that abundant life, abundance in joy, peace, freedom, love, right? But we don't always have that. And why is that? As Christians, when God says that, why don't we have it? Right? So we're going to talk more about that. So here's the thing, right? Like we don't always know who we are, and it's very hard to be grounded when we don't know who we are. We're grounded in ourselves when we truly know who we are, our identity and worth in Christ. And we're going to talk more about that too. But here's the thing. I don't know if some of you are experiencing this, but a lot of times deep down, we have this fear of being judged. Maybe that's you. Maybe you fear, if you're really yourself, if you really show up authentically you with all the stuff going on inside, whether it's to God or to other people, You fear that you're going to be judged and looked down on. So you don't know that you can be who you really are. And maybe you don't really know who you are. So you don't know how to show up. And you lack the confidence and the courage to show up in your life and relationships based on who you are because you don't know who that is yet. And the parts of you that you do know, you don't know if you really want to share them because what would people think if they really knew? And honestly, what I've found in working with people and having relationships with a lot of people is we're all struggling with stuff deep down that we don't want to share. And when we share it, we have this commonality and we can build community that way. And it's so powerful. Maybe you have struggled to love yourself. Are you one of those women who puts everyone else's needs first? You put your own last. You don't put on your oxygen mask before you put on someone else's, right? We hear about this when we're on an airplane. If you've been on an airplane lately, it might have been a year or more since you've been on an airplane. But when we're on one, we are told to put our oxygen mask on first. And to be honest with you, when I'm on an airplane, I tune it out. I've been on airplanes so many times that I tune out that part. But I guarantee you, based on my subconscious, if my daughter was beside me, I would be tempted to put that mask on her first. So I really should tune into what they're saying because what they're saying is so powerful. I would want to make sure her needs were met first or other people's needs were met first before mine. But the truth is, we need to put on our own oxygen mask first because we're no help to anyone if we aren't good, if we're unhealthy, if we pass out, right? So this applies to our life, and our oxygen mask is God. It's His word. It's who He is. It's healing our soul, our heart, and our mind so that we can actually put that mask on first and be a real support to other people, not from a place of need or lack, but because we just are in the overflow of love, right? So that's a different way of looking at it. But maybe you've struggled in some of your closest relationships because you've gotten walked all over. You've often given your power away to people. They've stepped on you. They haven't treated you well. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. And sometimes maybe you even back down when somebody comes back to you and they say, oh, you know what? I know I've hurt you all these times, but I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. And then they do it again. And we keep going through that same cycle. So is that you? Have you gone through that? And if it does, if any of this sounds like you, I just want you to put a Y in the comments. If this is resonating with you and you're going, yep, 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 and you're nodding your head as I'm talking, I just want you to put a Y in the comments. And so the desire and the opportunity today is for you to heal all that stuff from the past that keeps creeping up and affecting your life in the present time. And the opportunity to really have those solid relationships where you don't have drama, you don't have chaos, you're not being abused or manipulated, you're not being taken advantage of, you're not giving your power away or looking to others for validation. You're very whole and complete in who you are. So you don't go through that pattern anymore. And I'm going to show you a method that's specifically for Christian women that will help you to start to heal your soul. And your soul is your mind and your heart, right? So you can clear the way for God's Spirit to shine through you, because what happens with the soul is when we've been in pain, when we've been hurt, our soul kind of gets caked in, like if you imagine it like a filter that gets caked with dirt. And then if you pour water through the filter, it's going to come out dirty. But if you clean it out, clean out all the dirt, when you pour water through the filter, it comes out clear. And when everything's clear in us, it gives God a better opportunity to work through us because we are more of a conduit. We're not blocking His way of working through us through all this dirt in our filter. We're allowing it to just come through clean. And it's amazing how things flow through so differently. And, you aren't clouded from the stuff of the past, and God can just work through you in amazing ways. And I'm sure many of you probably want that, to clear out the pain in the soul so God can work through you in that powerful way. So if that's you, I'd love to hear from you. Is that something that you want? Are you feeling me? Are you resonating with what I'm saying? I always like to know, if you have any questions as we're going, please let me know. And my prayer for you is that you're going to take the information that you're given today and really be able to start to stand up for yourself, to walk with your head held high, to love yourself, and to have, a strong, loving partnership with a man who loves and respects you, friendships with other women who you are in community with in this really healthy way, that are lasting, that are long lasting friendships and real, and to feel confident in what you say, in how you show up in life, in what you do, And in the decisions you make, because a lot of people, a lot of women that I've talked to, a lot of my clients struggle to make decisions because they question themselves a lot and they waver on the decisions. What if you could make a decision and not worry about what anyone else thinks? Wouldn't that be nice? My prayer is that you're going to feel closer to God than ever before, because every time I do one of these, or every time I work with the women in the Set Free Academy, my prayer is that I will always be able to point them to God and they'll have a deeper relationship with Him in some way. And so, I want that for you. I want you to be at a point where you don't question yourself or your decisions because you're so tied into God that you are confident in what you choose because you've gone to Him first. And when you choose something, you stand on that truth because you know it is all about abiding in Him and you're just bearing the fruit. So let's work on how you can have more of that joy, that peace, that confidence through not allowing others to have power over you. So I'm curious from you, what does it mean? What do you think it means to give your power away to others? What does that mean to you? When I say that, giving your power away to other people, what does that look like or feel like in your life? Where have you done that in your life before? Give me an example, like a concrete example of you giving your power away. Just answer in the comments. And so I would say for me, as you're putting your comments in, I gave my power away for a long time to other people because I cared so much about what they thought of me. I only felt good. I only felt whole and complete if other people liked me, if other people loved me, if they accepted me. So how have you given your power away? And as you're doing that, I'll be honest, for years I said I gave my power away to other people. I struggled with low self-esteem. I hated myself. I didn't know who I was. I was frustrated and afraid to be me. I was always worried people would walk away. So what I did is I put on a facade, I put on an act that I was kind of good enough, that I was strong, that people couldn't hurt me, but deep down inside I was always hurting, right? And they always had power over me because I would think, okay, if I show up this way, they'll like me. But I was so fragile inside. And as soon as someone said anything, I wasn't whole and complete, so it would affect me in such a deep way. But I was so busy trying to put on this facade that they would like me that it was tiring and it didn't work, right? And, I didn't have healthy relationships. I had friendships, but they weren't healthy. It was always that I needed something from them, or I saw them as somebody who, if I was in relationship with this person, then I would feel good about myself and I would be good enough because they were good enough. So I would be good enough, right? By osmosis. And romantic relationships, forget it. Like I was terrible in romantic relationships. I just pushed people away. I was a lot of drama, a lot of chaos, a lot of back and forth, hot and cold. I had a very disorganized attachment style, not secure at all. And, at one point in my life, I realized my husband and I weren't doing well. It was just terrible with him. I'm surprised he stuck around, but he did. He's a good guy. I mean, he stuck around, thank goodness. And I had my baby. I had a baby girl who was this beautiful baby girl, but I was so stressed. I again was putting on the facade of I can handle this, I can do this, I can be a good mom, I can be a good wife, but all the while inside I was dying. And I struggled so much with anger and frustration at my husband and just feeling like it would be better off for both of them if I wasn't here. They would have a healthy life if I wasn't around with all the dirt that I was putting into, like the soup, right? You talk about like the dirt, you put a little speck of dirt in the soup and it just ruins the whole pot. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was just, and we don't always say dirt. Sometimes we say something else, but I felt like I was just ruining everything. And I just thought it would be better if I wasn't here. And that's, extremely frustrating if you've ever been through it, to not know what to do, to not know how to change. You just feel stuck. Have you ever felt stuck in this place of just not knowing what to do? Or maybe you're there right now. But once I understood the combination, this powerful combination of biblical truths and learning cognitive behavioral therapy tools, and then mixed in with that, this experiential learning, self-help, self-improvement, it all came together. It was that additional ingredient to not just understanding the Bible, but experientially putting it into my life, the how-tos, with a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy and neuro-linguistic programming to change my mindset, to be transformed by the renewing of my mind and hold my thoughts captive to Christ. And then I was able to apply this to my life, which is what got me to where I am today. And that was what I'd been waiting for, right? That power was in the combination of understanding what was going on inside me and learning new behaviors, learning to think differently, learning that the truth I'd stood on for so long was not actually truth. It was just something I'd made up. It was my belief system. And our belief systems are not necessarily truth because they can be argued, right? It wasn't fact, but I had believed it was fact. And so I made a commitment to myself at that time to just be a co-worker with Christ, to reach that higher level where I was becoming a co-worker with him. I wasn't just sitting there going, okay, God's going to come down one day and he's going to heal me. I put my feet forward and I took steps into what he was calling me to, which was the healing and the freedom. And as I co-created this life with him, where he was directing my steps and I was coming into agreement with him about who I was and where he wanted me to go, I just stepped into a new level of understanding and leadership and self-love and having this internal locus of control, so things didn't bother me so much and I didn't give my power away. And this is what I want for you, and this is what we're going to talk about more today, but I want you to understand the basis of why we often give our power away. Because we don't have that internal locus of control, we don't have the firm foundation, we're not grounded and rooted in him fully, because we've got our soul trauma in our mind and our heart, and it's not allowing his spirit to work fully in us, which is not allowing us to be fully healed and whole and free of all that stuff from the past. So do you want to be a co-worker with Christ? Is that something that you're looking for, to take action to heal your soul, heal your mind and your heart, and allow his spirit to shine through you more? If that's you and you want to be a co-worker with Christ, I just want you to put a heart in the comments to show, yes, I'm ready to come into agreement with God more, to really work together with him the way he's asking me to. So if that's you, put it in the comments. So I don't know if this resonates with you. I like to talk in pictures because I'm very visual, but I imagine, in my past, and maybe this applies to you, that I had built my foundation. I had built my life on a foundation that I thought was firm. I thought I built it on the rock, but I built it on sand. So when the water came in, when the waves came and washed over, it just pulled it all away. Now I've built it on a firm foundation, which is what I've learned through teaching what I do in the Set Free Academy. But it was amazing. Once I build my life on a firm foundation, it was like a complete turnaround in my life. That's when you stop giving your power away to people, when you've really dug deep into those areas inside you that have felt so broken. You're not broken, but you might feel broken and stuck from the past, right? The stuff that's happened to you. If you've built your foundation on sand, because all that stuff is still going on inside you, it can easily be washed away. But when you build it on the rock, it changes everything. So I'm guessing you want to build your life on a firm foundation as well. So if that's you, just put in 100, put in 100%, put in the little emoji that says 100 if you are just ready to build your life on a firm foundation, because that is really what changes everything. So on our small group call the other night, which is why I was really motivated to talk about this topic came up a lot. And over time, many of my clients have come to me not really knowing how to explain it as I'm giving my power away to someone. They didn't know how to name it that way, but they would say things like, my husband did this to me and I'm angry, I'm upset, right? Or, she's going to think this about me if I say that. So I'm just going to hold back. I'm not going to say it. Or I'm afraid of what they're going to think of me if I actually do this or say this. And so through the coaching that we went through, they realized that they were in fact giving their power away to people. And we don't always know what that sounds like, but often it'll sound like they did this and I feel, right? Even in that one statement, we're basing our feelings on something they did. Or I don't know if I want to say it or do it because what are they going to think of me? And trust me, like I'm not immune to this. I still have moments where I think that, but now I can talk myself through it and really realize that, no, I know my identity in Christ. I don't need to worry about what they think of me. But we train ourselves, right? I've trained myself to be there. Now I train other women the same way. And so we talked through it, and I want to share some of the things I shared with them on the call. So the first thing is that inside us, we have a God-shaped hole. And I talked a little bit about this earlier. And the God-shaped hole inside us is a hole that only one person can fill, and that's God, right? No one else can fill that hole. It's a God-shaped hole. It's only there for God to fill. But what we do because of our past experiences is we'll fill that hole with other things because we don't feel good enough inside. So we think, oh, that next shiny object, that'll make us feel good. If we buy the next, cool thing, or if we shop, or if we eat, or if we drink, or we do drugs, or we have sex, or whatever it is, we're going to feel good. We're going to fill that hole, that loneliness, that longing inside. And the truth is, only God can fill it, which is why I go back to this firm foundation that we're building on the rock, that we're becoming deeply rooted in our identity and worth in Him. And that's when we can actually fill the hole properly. And that comes from healing our soul, because our soul is our ego, and that's what we want to fill it. Our ego wants to fill it with all these things. But once we heal our soul, we can really look at how we fill it for real in a healthy way with God. And the next question is, why do we look to others? Why do we so often look to other people and wonder, what are they going to think of us? Oh my goodness, are they talking about me? Oh, they didn't respond the way I thought. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe I said something wrong. Why do we do that? Because we're afraid and we're insecure, again, because of things in our past, because of belief systems we've taken on about ourselves. And we have this meta frame, we have this frame of the world, or this belief system of the world, that we're not enough and therefore people see us as not enough. And it's just a belief system. It's not actually truth. It's just something that we have come to believe about ourselves, but it's not truth if it can be argued. Like, I could sit there and say, I had this conversation with one of my clients where she didn't think she was enough. She thought she was worthless. She thought all these things were wrong with her. And I'm like, well, I don't agree. I think you're amazing. I think you're totally worthy. I think you're very lovable. I think you are enough. I'm like, so which one of us is wrong? Because either I'm wrong or you're wrong. We can't both be right, right? So which one of us is not right? Because those things can be argued. We get very committed to those beliefs because we think it's truth, but it's not. It's just a belief system that we have come to have based on our past. But the beautiful thing about that is it can be changed. And when we change our belief system about ourselves, and I take my clients through exercises around this, we can really shift how we feel. And then we're looking for evidence for everything we believe. So when we shift the way we feel about ourselves, we start to look for new evidence that will actually be, really filtering through this place of, I am enough. So therefore, oh, wow, that happened to me. And I feel good. I am enough, or I am worthy. And therefore God says I'm worthy. And therefore I attract people into my life that think I'm worthy, right? And we don't come from this place of insecurity and shrinking down. We don't want to do that anymore. And then we actually, in that place of shrinking, go, oh, that person, if they think I'm good enough, then I'll feel better and I'll be puffed up a little bit more, right? You can see how this is the ego. But it's all coming back to God. It's all coming back to who He says you are. And we get to that place by really healing the soul, healing our mind and heart, so we can believe in who God says we are, so we can come into agreement with Him, right? All this stuff is true. It's all inside us anyway, but we don't agree with it. We don't come into agreement with it. And that's where we get to bridge the gap, right? And at the end of the day, why do we care so much about what someone else thinks of us? What are we afraid to lose if they don't love us or they don't like us? Like, as children, there's a real fear of being abandoned. If people don't love us when we are young, we might be abandoned. That's scary, right? We don't want that. So we build this belief system that we need to protect ourselves. Our subconscious belief system wants to protect. It doesn't want us to be in a position where we're going to be abandoned. So we care what people think because we're afraid they're going to leave us. We're afraid we're going to be alone. We're afraid we're not going to be in community with people. And as a child, that's terrifying, right? But as an adult, we're fine. We don't have to worry about that. We can provide for ourselves in some ways, right? We can provide for our own home. We can get a job. We can choose the people who are in our life, right? But as a child, we can't do that. So really important is to go, why am I so concerned about what these people think of me, what this person thinks of me? What's the fear? What am I afraid to lose if they don't like me? And if you dig deep and you play detective with yourself, you'll start to understand what that fear is. And when you think you've got a fear, like, well, I'm afraid they're not going to like me and then I won't be able to hang out with them anymore. Okay, So go deeper. If I can't hang out with them anymore, then I'm going to feel so lonely. And if I feel lonely, then the fear is that I'm not going to feel enough. And if I don't feel enough, the fear is that I might just want to hurt myself, or I might overeat, or I might just go back to old habits. And if I do that, then I could die. Right? So, like, the fear is always, almost always coming down to fear of abandonment, fear of not being loved, or fear of death. Right? But if you think about it, I care what this person thinks because I'm actually afraid I'm dying. Like, that's what it comes down to deep down in our subconscious, which is why we're so afraid. I hope this is making sense, because I know it's a lot of like kind of deep psychological information, but this stuff is so important to understand, because now when you understand why you give your power away, awareness is the first step. Then you can actually change it. You can do something about it. The other thing that, and I know some of you might not want to hear this, but the truth is, when we put other people up on a pedestal and we think their opinion of us matters so much more than God's, that's idolatry, right? We're idolizing a person and going, well, their opinion matters of me. And we're not looking at God and what he really thinks, which is beauty, wonder, amazement. God looks at us and he loves us so much, incredibly, unconditionally, but we're worried about what this person thinks of us. So it's really important to keep in mind that, that's idolatry, right? How are we putting that person on a pedestal above God? So again, a big thing, but this can shift the way you think. So why do you give your power away? Like, what's your fear? What are you afraid of? And I want you to go through that exercise of, well, if this person doesn't like me, then I'll feel this. And if I feel this, then my fear is this. Then my fear is this. And then my fear is this. And see what it comes down to. Does it come down to a fear of abandonment, a fear of that you won't be loved, or a fear that you will die? Because they're very real. And that's what it comes down to. So, I just want to say thank you. You've been here with me, and I hope you've gained some insight from this. I hope that you've understood that you're not alone, that you are in a community of people, and you can be in a deeper community of people who get it, where you can truly be yourself as you know yourself to be now, and learn more about who you really are and how to build your life on that firm foundation. And again, for those of you who don't know me very well, I'm Alana Palm, and I help Christian women heal their soul and love themselves by using the most powerful combination of biblical principles, experiential self-improvement type tools, and cognitive behavioral therapy, and a few other modalities to help these women get deeply rooted in their identity and worth and purpose in Christ. And if this talk resonated with you, and you want to go deeper, there's more for you, and you've just been waiting for something like this to come along, there is an opportunity for you to get on the wait list for the Set Free Academy. So right now there's a wait list. The Set Free Academy is definitely a program that is very hands-on. I work with you one-on-one. I work with you and walk through this with you until you are like in this place where you just feel very grounded and rooted completely, and you've healed your soul, right? So it's a 12-month process where you could go from where you are now to your dreams coming true in a way that you finally feel whole and complete in Christ. You already are, but you might not feel like you are, right? So basically the women that I work with, like, they have this desire, and they come out of it, and they love themselves more. They walk with their head held high. They get rid of that broken record of negative thoughts. And it's a process, right? Because you've had this broken record of thought cycles, belief systems for probably decades. So we unravel them and see what is actually true. You learn how to shift your thinking and hold your thoughts captive to Christ. You learn how to have a strong, loving partnership with a man who actually loves and respects you, and friendships with other women who do the same. And you learn to stand up for yourself and create really solid boundaries so people don't mistreat you anymore. And you treat yourself with more love and grace and tenderness like God does. You feel more confident in who you are, what you say, what you do, the decisions you make, right? And you start to courageously stand up for your beliefs more because you know who you are. You have more intimacy in your relationship with the Lord. you expel the lies of the enemy in your head, you overcome those limiting beliefs, and you get more excited about your life, right? And you don't get held back anymore by those chains that have kept you in bondage for a long time. But yeah, if that's something that interests you, you can go to the Set Free Academy. And there's no obligation. Like if you fill it out and there's a spot available, and then you realize maybe it's not for you, we have a conversation about that. Any women who come into the program, I have a conversation with first, because I want to make sure it's a perfect fit for you, and it's a perfect fit for the other women that are in the community, because it's a very sacred space where women come and they want to be healed, they want to be free, and they want to feel safe. So I'm always very careful about who I choose to allow in the program, because I want to make sure it's going to be good for everybody as they're on their healing journey, right? So there's some of small group component and some one-on-one component and a whole lot of other stuff. So if you want to get on the wait list for that, yes, and the application is actually designed that way. It's designed to be daunting, because again, that is the first step. If a woman can get past that, if she can really sit there and fill that out, then I know she's ready. And I work with women who are 100% ready. I I don't work with the women who are wishy-washy and unsure. Like if you're committed, I'm here to help you. But I don't work with women that aren't committed, because I will be doing more of the work than they will. I know my passion is to help them, and I want it so badly for them that I'll be like dragging them along, and they'll be like kicking and screaming, right? I don't want that. I want people who know that they're ready and they are 100% committed. So yeah, the application is designed that way on purpose. And it will turn some people off, and that's okay. Like this isn't the program for them, right? So, but yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So, and that's it for today. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, please put replay, #replay in the comments, and tag me so that I get a notification about it, because I don't always go through and see all of the comments. But if you tag me, I will see your comment. And reach out. If you have any questions and you want to reach out, you can message me. I'm happy to do that. And so yeah, so that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions. Put it in the comments. I'm happy to support you as I can. And I know this was probably like drinking from a fire hose today. You get like tons of information, but I try to pack a lot in. So hopefully you'll be able to just process this and apply it to your life. And if you need help with that, let me know. I'm happy to help. Thank you so much for being here with me. I always appreciate when you show up live and you interact. It just feels so much more like a conversation instead of me just talking to you. I don't like talking to people. I like a two-way conversation. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your sweet comments. So that's it. That's it for today. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I look forward to being with you again soon. Bye. Thank you for watching. If you connected with this content and it helped you in some way, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, check the description below for special gifts just for you. See you in the next video.